My ideal girl. I just want someone who dies when she's with me.
Alright, so this is continuing from where I last left off. And I'm not going to play this one for long today. I'm going to see if I could try to make Uriel the second build. Um, I'm going to try to see if I could do it for less than 30 minutes. If not 30 minutes. I believe the last time I was just trying to figure him out, but now that I know him, there's nothing to figure out anymore. And it's just testing the build now on who works and who doesn't, or what works and what doesn't work with him at his max level with weapons this time. Because I know based on the performance of mods and without mods and with mods, his powers kill enemies slow. But by stopping the enemies using the powers or adding status effects on them, it then caused me to kill them far quicker using melee. So I'm gonna try various different melees and see which one works best. Typically I think I used the Gram last time. No, it was a Fragor. So this time I'll use the Gram. Or maybe... yeah, I'll use the Gram this time. It's not about really speed with the Gram. It's more about wind-up speed. See? Wind-up speed. Wind-up, multiplier, wind-up. So this is a multiplier mod. Allows you to multiply and increase your critical damage. And this is also a wind-up, has wind-up to it. So this has wind-up, this has wind-up. And the wind-up, if you don't know, allows you to, the smaller it gets, the more wind-up mods you have on, it makes you swing faster when you do heavy attacks. Like a charge attack, it makes your wind-up swing faster rather than take a longer time, so that's very helpful. But most people do the standard. What they do with their melee is they go down here and they do a heavy attack slam towards the ground. So it's a slam attack does more damage than the wind up attack, which does 28,000. Slam attack does twice as much. So that's why I have seismic on. Without seismic on, seismic would probably fall below that of the standard damage. And of course, when you slam on the floor, 100% status chance on enemies that are lifted from the ground when you slam on the floor. So if they don't die from the impact on the ground, the moment you swing at them, they should automatically die in the second swing or in the second slam. But that's not about this. This is about using him in full combat with stronger level enemies of the steel path. This time I believe I'll use Exumas and see how that works with Exumas enemies. We'll see. Typically Opticore Vandal takes pretty long. This does a nice little crowd control effect. And Soma has a great multiplier, but his damage is terrible. I really need to invest more in the tenant weapons, so I believe I have one or two, but I rarely pay attention to them. I haven't really used this weapon a lot. Well, that's why, because it's it's pretty new. Alright, so I'm not gonna go with that. Let's see. Really shouldn't matter, to be honest with you. I'm thinking about it. Um, Explosion damage is pretty good. I remember carefully, but Lancer really don't have much. I kind of like this weapon. Even though it doesn't have a lot of ammo, I really like it. Alright, and since I'm going that route, radiation does pretty good. I still kind of like this weapon. I don't know what it is. I really like this weapon. I wonder if I believe they had changed something with regards to it. But maybe I'm overthinking it. Okay, so these are the weapons I'll use with him, and this is what I'll use with him. And I could form him one more time in order to, let's see. So I was thinking about it, like, wait a minute. Speaking of which, I need to start doing farming for more platinums pretty soon, sometime this week. And I believe that gives me 8 capacity. So I know exactly what capacity I'll need for the next time I do a forma. So the fun part about these new updates, what I still like, is that they have eliminate the whole process of you trying to figure out how much capacity you would need once you reach 30. So they threw that in the garbage bin. And now every time you forma, you know exactly how much capacity you would have before you reach 30. So I have 7, so might as well increase power strength just a little bit more. Or want to do more damage with my coaxial drift. And that's what I'll use. So last test. So today will be my last test of this. I'm only doing 2 tests. Last time I did 1 test, today I do a second test. But that's it.
You will make an excellent hunter.
Alright. Which one was the classic one? I believe this one was the classic. Standard simulacrum. Yeah, that's the classic. Kind of like the ballroom. Alright, so... Wait. Did I... Oh no. Never mind. I forgot that I just unlocked them. Okay, so I'll level him up, then I'll test him. So first, get affinity. Second, then go to Hydron. Actually, I didn't need to leave. I could have just stayed the whole time. Alright, so now one, two, three, four, five, six. 6 people at this location got affinity, including myself. Alright. For the next 3 hours. Like, say what you will about Digital Extreme, but like, when many things they have, it's extremely generous compared to other games. Like, in the past, there was no system for leveling, for getting affinity. Like back in 2020, 2016, there was none of that. But now that's all over because they're trying to get more people to play Warframe. You get a temporary affinity boost for about, I believe it's an hour. 3 hours. You get temporary affinity boost for 3 hours. So it's an incentive to make you play for 3 hours to leveling up. So yeah, it's good, and it allows you to, in some ways I think that it shouldn't have been 3 hours, but it should have been like a 1 hour thing, but it's fine. I have no gripes about it. Because they figure the average player stays on for about 2 or 3 hours
Our position
anyway.
has been compromised.
So that's why they give it 2 or 3
Defend
hours.
the cargo until reinforcements arrive.
So the fun thing about Warframe, you could always turn off all these crazy effects, like color correction, character shadows, anything that looks like it's blurring your vision. You could turn those off. Like sometimes a player will select colors that are so bright it blinds you, or their powers are bright. You could turn all that off. And now the only thing that will remain is the standard effects rather than extra effects. So you dumb down a lot of the brightness and a lot of the effects by half a margin. See, by just doing that, you would have gotten a spark effect with some lights. All that is gone now. Yeah, specifically once he hits 15, I should have access to all my powers, and then I'll do the test. It's also recommended when you do level up, you should only carry one weapon with you if you're trying to level up. Carrying more than one weapon, well, you're giving affinity to a weapon that's already maxed out, so there'll be no point to do that. Nope, my bad. It's at, I believe it's at 10. Once you reach level 10, you get access to all your powers. All 4 of your powers. Oh yeah, if anyone from my clan ever watches this video, remember what I was saying about side hustles? Yeah. Just remember what type of gaming side hustle you're doing. Some of that stuff is illegal, and some of them just have term regulations. Like, if you're trying to sell in-game stuff for real well money, that's term violations regardless of what game you're playing. So you get banned, you get kicked, then you have to set up another account, which means you have to create a dummy email account, and then you do the same thing over again to get like a little extra cash, but then they kick you again because you did the same thing, but they don't know that it's you. So you then create another account and it rinse and repeat. All that hassle to level up and get those goods to sell. It's not even worth it, man. There are plenty of ways to get money from gaming. They're not easy, but you don't violate any terms. Those dudes in those other countries, like countries that either third world or second world, that do that shit, and they're not from North America, it's because they know that they could get away with that stuff. But as we know, we're now in the digital age where it doesn't matter what country you're from. company has control of their game, so they'll ban you regardless of what country you're from. If you ever hear a player auction, you're like, go look up player auction.
Very impressive, Tenno.
You'll see
You
a
held
whole lot
all
of shit
that
there,
time to get
and
out
all
of
of
here.
that shit is term violation stuff. But player auction, the company allows it because it has nothing to really do with them. They're not responsible for the actions of others. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was saying I was going to do that Withering Waves as a side hustle, but then I rethought about it and I was like, nah, all games have term violations. I'm not down with that. Like, man, they could do that shit. Then they get in trouble. I guarantee people who do that probably are doing worse things than that, just to feed their families. Then they get in trouble with the law. Because they figure if they could get away with it on that, maybe they'll try to do it in something else. And that something else might be something that will get them in trouble with the law. Yeah, that's not me, man. I do play tests. And if those people from playtest call me back to do playtests, I'm like, it's all good. If they don't, I got my other two side hustles. Has nothing to do with games. Okay, so now everything is based on customer wants, you know. It's not like you're a PlayStation Plus and if you want access to my products, you have to pay me $10. Because then you have to pay them $10 all the time to always get access to their products. It doesn't work that way when you're the person who's the designer and you want to, what am I doing? You're the designer and you want money from people for doing designs for them. Because people don't have to give you money for anything. Because your business is not really like a legit business, even though it's legit to you. And even though you put down certain agreements, and if you don't like it, you know, you can always go to someone else. What I'm trying to say is you're not a big business, so you're very, very low tier, like many people who use Fiverr. So you have to depend on your skills, testimonies, a whole lot of other stuff as well. And you could do that as well. That's a nice little side hustle. But no one has to do anything for you. That's the thing about side hustles. Like, no one has to do anything for you. Like, you're solely depending on your skill set and your hustle. The same as driving an Uber. Like, your determination. It's mostly about determination. I do 5 hours of design every day, and I make sure I do that regardless of whatever it is that's going on in my life. Unless it's an emergency, doctors know something, I do that regardless. I put that over my working out, I put that over gaming, I get that done, boom. Do anything else I want to do after that, but I make sure I get that in along with work, and boom. Everything else I throw in between. So today we're going to try Exumus. This should be fun. Wait, let me kill. kill. Claire. Claire. Okay. We'll see how this works. Because these are bubble guys, so Mr. Bubble guys, we're going to keep them on AI first. And then we'll see how corrupted crewman Exumus works. Okay. No. Nullifiers. No. These aren't the bubble guys. These are the bubble guys. Exumus nullifiers. Nullifier. Corrupted Exumus nullifier. Alright. So, this is the test. Steel path. AI. We'll see how it goes. That's a lot of bubble guys. So first we'll test the power, and the power is at 200. Alright. Okay, so first things first. What the hell? Hold on. One power just... That's strange. Alright, so the bubble guys turn off. Okay, so how is this going to work? Alright, so we'll see. Okay, first I might have to use a weapon that could take down the bubbles faster. Take down one bubble faster, we'll see. Alright. Not good. Let's see how I could take down all their bubbles all at once. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not good either. Their bubbles did go down, but they need better crowd control for the bubbles. I doubt this will do it, but... that's a lot. Goes down a lot. This range is pretty damn good, but it goes down a lot. It's because of this. Sure. Alright, let's try. Let's see how this works. Yeah, it just takes too long. Maybe I need to fire faster. The objective is to take down all the bubbles at once so he could then use his powers. Because the whole point of nullifiers is for you not to use your powers. So if I could take down all their bubbles all at once within 2 shots, then this is good. So more faster firing rate. I believe with the Ogris it's all about multi-shot. So the more multi-shot I have, the more spread, or maybe it's about spread. Now, because I already have this on, which improves blast radius. It's the reason why most of them are getting hit. And this does multi-shot, so maybe more blast radius. Rockets, disperse napalm, inflicts 30%. Over 6 seconds across. 9% of... Oh! Let's see how this will work. Okay. It takes down my damage significantly. We'll see. If the ogre doesn't work, I'll have to try another weapon. Because that's 20 enemies with 20... It's like an entire globe of nothing but impenetrable bubbles. Nothing. So the damage amount matters. It's not about the radius. Okay. I think this gun just doesn't do it. I need something with further radius. I think maybe Zenith. A lens. Let's try lens. Headshot for damage. Merciless. Kill. I see. 5% headshot multiplier. Maybe I need Harrow's ability for this. Or Harrow's weapon, Scorch. Throw Scorch down, use secondary weapon. We'll see. Total damage is not that great. It comes with 1 magazine though. Yeah, it takes too long. Fire rate takes too long. See if I could defeat these guys easy, and everyone should be easy. Because these are the most annoying enemies of all times, because they just turn off your powers. It's their sole purpose is to turn off your damn powers. It's annoying as hell. Oh, wait a minute. I might have a solution here. Where is it? I used that weapon before. An explosive weapon. I just throw it on the ground and explode. Maybe a multiplier. Telos. Not really. Maybe. How many times no, haven't even used Telos that much. Yes. Use this. Despair. Use that much. Echo Prime. Let's try. Sure, I'll use this. I'll see Sanctity on explosion. Probably won't go for precision headshots on melee kills. I don't know what guidance means. Let's read downloads it to an enemy overguides. Deals extra damage to overguide. Cast next shot. It's by for every 200 extra energy spent. Let's see what Surge does. Alright. Let's try both these and Surge, and I believe I was kind of accurate about the weapon I was using before. Melee weapon. See, because this is less about his powers and more about his survivability. So it's more now dependent on his weapons more than anything else. Because with average enemies, it's just him and his weapons. But strong enemies, it's about selecting specific weapons and his powers. So I'm going to try this. Let's see how this does. Alright, so let's do this. He's now out of powers with that weapon. So that weapon lasts for a very short time. Yeah, and this weapon is not good. Due to the fact that it doesn't have a lot of ammo. Has like one magazine. It's not good. And Sanctity doesn't do it much either. It'd be weird if this works, but I don't think it will. Man, it takes a long time. Alright, so typically this works. Fire rate is pretty slow. Yeah, this blast radius isn't good enough. Alright, let's see. How you do? So, you could just say yes. Alright, so somewhat fast, but still doesn't take down their stuff for a very long time. Get more effect from the Ogress than anything else. I know this does high damage within one shot. It's no good. It's a single fire weapon for single targets. It does a lot of damage in one shot, but it just takes too goddamn long. Oh, did I even check? Alright, let's see how long this one takes. Oh, that's fast. Okay, I think I remember. I think I remember the whole speech about, if I recall correctly, to take down their weapons, you would have to use a radiation weapon. Take down their bubbles real fast. I believe. I'm not sure if this is the one or it was the. Um, let's see. Oh wait. What I don't like is when their bubbles go down, it doesn't go all the way down. It's still on them. I need to eliminate their bubble permanently. So I was thinking, alright, that secondary weapon. Maybe I try the weapon of the Cephalon weapon. Cephalon Sunda weapon. I used to use from the past, a Gamma Core, which is said to be very, very good for dealing with these guys, their bubbles, because it takes it down pretty fast. But we'll see. So let's see. This bubble's there. Gamma Core. Yep. Alright. That's one. Alright, then we'll try our trusty Milo weapon. This takes too long. This weapon is so you have to like break their ability to use their shields. Once that's done, you just kill them. So you use the Gamma Core to take it down, or the thing I don't like about this weapon is that it's a single fire enemy. It's like you need burst, area of effect burst weapons. It's great for taking down their shields. The fact that it takes so long. Let's try this one. Let's go with this. So that seems to be the combo. And then you go for the kills. Okay, so that weapon works pretty good. Let's try it again. Try on this one this time. Throw the powers on, switch to this. Alright, so that's how that works. Alright, so this weapon seems to be work better than all the others. This and some of Gamma Core. The Gamma Core seem to take their bubbles down faster, and but I need something to let me see. What if I use the Gamma Core to take, and since they are corpus, I go in for the attack rather than stay behind. Alright, so I'll try it again. Same enemies I used before. And I'll see based on movement this time. Shit! Nope, doesn't work. Alright, so the melee weapon takes too long to get to them. So I'm thinking once I take their throwing weapon will work. Because the powers can't really do much of anything unless their whole thing is down. Thinking about going with could go with this or glaive. Maybe I should go with glaive because I use glaive more. So I take one How about ogres with the flames? Napalm. It was napalm, yeah. Rockets. It was flames, but also damage. Was that about the damage? Status damage. Punch throw. Less about that and more about that. Alright, so I'll see how this goes. I'll probably use the Gamma Coin just the glaive alone. I should switch from this to, if I am using melee. Alright. There's really not much you could do against these guys when they could see you. So I might have to use not Warframe, Shade. No, this is dependent solely on accuracy, which doesn't work. The glaive is dependent on accuracy, which is no good to me. Need something that could. I don't need accuracy, just damage on impact. Where I could take their shields down quick and then do one smash slam damage. Overall slam is 47,000, can scale to 95,000. That's not bad. What is it about? Oh yes, when you're firing with your Warframe, you can't really. Oh yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah, it has to be a stealth weapon for you to stay invisible with Warframe. Maybe I'm completely wrong. You don't need. I don't think you need 3 weapons. It's annoying when there are 3 weapons. It's annoying, really annoying when there are 3 weapons, because then you constantly have to switch. I believe the Grammar Core is doing everything you need. Evensong is actually getting in the way, because between you switching between the Gamma Core after you take down their bubble, you then have to switch to your Fragor to do the melee slam, which is 2 switches. So I think rather than putting this here, I should put a fast switch between melee weapons. I could use this. Or I could use this. Peculiar bloom. Creates cause flowers to grow on wounds. No, it wasn't this one. Peculiar N. Finisher kills have a 100% chance to dissolve enemies in dread. Dissolve enemies in dread. If I do a finisher kills, I have a 100% chance to dissolve enemies in dread. Now, does this mean surrounding enemies? We'll see. So, that's what it sounds like. Like, if I kill one enemy, whoever's next to him gets dissolved in dread. That'd be sweet, because that means less enemies to kill. Alright, well, we'll see. Only use a Gamma Core in this. The bubble guys, the nullifiers, are the worst enemies to fight in any steel path, because they're all nullify and destroy your power. So to kill them is solely based on your weapons. Once their bubble is down, then you can use your powers. So I believe the best choice of action here is to take one down at a time, one bubble, and ground pound him with a hammer on his head, and then finisher kill him, and then run out of the way with shade on to go invisible again. Do the same thing to another enemy, ground slang him, and then, like, if this was Loki, it would be so easy because he will always constantly stay invisible. But I can't unless I subsume his Uriel's 4th ability with Loki's 2nd, and then everything is perfect. So we'll see with just 2 weapons this time. Okay. First, go invisible. Okay. Okay. And since I got 2 weapons, sometimes Warframe don't work. Now Shade is dead, so I definitely can't go invisible. Now that their bubbles have broken, the only thing they got left The sole purpose of the Gamma Core was to destroy that bubble so they never get to use it again. Now all I gotta do is use my powers, and it's done so for them. Yes, it's taking long to do a fourth, that's why I say the fourth is shitty. Would this have gone faster? Sure, it would have gone faster if I had a better weapon. But I believe there's no better weapon to take down bubbles than the Snoid Gamma Core. It literally makes their bubble goes down extremely fast. Now, if I had a better melee weapon to just hit them once with a slam, a tenant melee weapon with a slam, I don't have to do swings. I just do bubble down, tenant slam, that's it. The problem, see, when you want quick kills, you have to decide how you're going to fight. Like, if you want quick kills, it's best to carry just two weapons, because what happens when you're switching between your melee and your secondary weapon, if you have your primary weapon on, it will automatically by default switch you to your primary. So now you have to switch from the primary to the secondary, and that's one more added second, actually two more added seconds, because you have to go into the animation and then you switch. So there's a 2 second here and a 2 second here. That's 4 seconds. You don't need an additional 2 more seconds. So you just need your Warframe and two weapons for bubble enemies. In fact, for any enemies you need 2 more weapons, but not all. You're not going to have 20 bubble enemies off the steel path that are level 200 on the battlefield. It's not going to happen. So I've proved that the best weapon to take down bubbles is the Gamma Core, and with a slam attack. Because I died once before using any other weapons, or using 3 weapons, and so I'll do it again one last time, and I'll call it a day on how to take down the annoying bubble enemies that are level 200 in strength. So I'll increase their level to 200, or maybe I can't. Maybe this was the highest I got with bubble enemies. I think so. I think the bubble enemies were 180 was the highest I got with bubble enemies. Other enemies I got up to 200. But I believe it's the same. It's not too much of a difference between 180 and 200. It's more likely that your shade is going to die. So let's see. How can we keep shade alive much longer? Prime region is on. Sentinel occasionally heals its owners. Important. Ghost is on. It has to repair itself. when goes invisible is broken. Shade owner is granted 200 weapon damage. This is good. Shade armors here. So I'm depending solely on his stuff staying on, because if I give him yeah, okay, well, let's see what else you got. Health, boost on shields, but let's see, maybe I don't need this. I don't need him to help me, I need him to help himself. But I don't have much of anything else. I don't want him to sacrifice himself, and I don't want him to attack the enemy. I want him to stay, so more defense. So let's give him faster shield regen. Or I had one here. Animal instinct, spare parts. Would more shields help him? He only have 300 shields. Believe regen is will probably help him better than more shields. See anything here? Alright, so let's see what this says. Enemy is injured by a companion. Well, he's not going to do any of that. Health orbs increase armor for companion by 100 for 12 seconds. Holstering primary and secondary weapon. Reload of magazines for companion, but he's not going to be using any weapons. So, alright, so if he dies, he dies. Let's see here. Okay, we'll try this again, and this will be the end of that. The fourth just takes too goddamn long. Once you go past like level 100 of an enemy strength, it takes a while to build up the fourth, and that's just not good whatsoever at all. Not good. The bubble enemies are the most annoying enemies, corrupted, nullifier, exumus, in the game, because their sole purpose is designed for you not to use your powers whatsoever at all. But once their bubble is completely broken, like completely broken, they can't ever use it again, they're done for. So we'll make another group. Alright, this, get close enough so I go invisible. Okay. Shit, grab him. Never mind. Kill him. That's one. Gamma core. Do your job. Kill him. Switch. Flip. Slam. He's down. He's down. Got him. Alright. Get out. Get out. Alright. Melee weapon again. Take that one down. Okay, it's broken. See? The moment you hear the word "phew," that means it's time to get the hell out. Okay, so that's one death. The solution is always to take them down one at a time. Don't be a hero. Keep them separate. Separate them. Probably wouldn't have died before. Okay. He's done for. Johnny's by himself. Get greedy. It's all about patience. Patient and pick your moment. There you go, that's one. Too close, too close. Get the hell out. Walk right into that one. Take down all the bubble guys. Okay. Got one more. There you go. Oh, like hearing that. Some help. Come on. Where's, oh yeah, I keep forgetting it's that. Okay. I was wondering why it wasn't working. Okay, greedy. There you go. He's vulnerable, but he's... So in all truth, you only really need the first and the second power. You don't even really need the third, and the fourth is completely useless. So I wouldn't have died the first time, but I was just getting too greedy. The whole point is to be patient when you're fighting bubble guys. More than anyone, bubble guys, you have to be patient because they have bubbles, and their bubbles could take down your powers. So you're not supposed to get near to them until you take down their powers. And the gamma core is the most beautiful weapon when it comes to these guys because it takes down who they are specifically easy. So his kit is great for, I believe, mid-range, close to mid-range combat, not really for wide-range combat. And he has two very good powers, and his third is so-so. His fourth is kind of garbage because he hasn't even filled up yet, and there were 20 guys that I killed. So when you're fighting level 200, level 300 enemies, it probably won't even get to the halfway point. So the only good part about Uriel's kit is his first 3 powers, or in all truth, his first 2 powers, because that's all I was doing most of the time. The second powers give you health and give you some buffs, as stated here. Second powers, it grants health, 104 health, and 104% shields. So the moment you do it, you instantly get 104 shields, which allows, even if the enemy is hitting you, that they'll have to then break through your shields again, and allows you to get health. And his second ability, his second demon, has a effect duration of 12 seconds and a lash duration of also 12 seconds. So he will latch onto an enemy of any enemy type for full 12 seconds. Not really important, to be honest with you, but what I am interested in, and I've always been, is the return of health, return of shields, and the effect of fire. Fire behaves the same way it does in any fire weapons with Uriel powers. Once an enemy is on fire, they're stunned for a certain percentage, and they're caught on fire, and they're in this little body animation that they do, and it's quite funny, but it allows you to have time enough to move around the battlefield. So his second kit, which gives you health and energy orbs, 209% energy orbs and 320% health, is extremely important. And his first ability is also extremely important because it sets enemy on fire when you're dashing through them or by them or rolling by them. And the closer you get in range using both your second and your first demon, they both latch on to 2 enemies. So if an enemy is not caught by your fire, either your fire, if you're first or second, your demons attached to another enemy that's right next to Uriel. But you have to keep moving around in order to use both your first and your second effectively. I didn't use my third once at all, or my fourth at all, by killing those 20 bubble guys, and they were like level 180. So even if they weren't level 180, let's say they were level 200 enemies, it wouldn't make a difference. I might die twice with level 200 enemies. Maybe I wouldn't die at all. level 200 enemies, because I believe I didn't. The first time I died, it's because I was being cocky and not paying attention to my surroundings. So in all truth, at level 200 you might die once, and at level 300 you might die maybe 2 or 3 times. And if you manage to get past level 300 enemies, which you know, you manage to get to level 400 enemies, you might die 4 times, and then that's all your revives on level 400. But no one really goes past level 300 enemies unless they have no choice. But like in Warframe, the max it goes up 280 to 300 level enemies, or maybe 350 now. But no one really goes past level 300 enemies anymore, or even try to. Once they get by level 300 enemies, they're like call it a day, and then they go do something else. So his kit is pretty good with regards to his first and his second. And specifically for bubble enemies, you should always carry the Soma Gamma Cord, because this basically melts their bubble fast. So I would say if you're fighting various different enemies, you want a huge crowd control weapon. Whatever your crowd control weapon for your primary, you can put it here, and you would carry your Gamma Core as a default, just in case bubble enemies show up, which they always will, to shut off your powers, or any Xumos enemies that does health damage effect or energy damage effect. This will take out their bubbles. So this weapon is primarily for bubbles. So you have a main weapon, which is for crowd control, and then you have a melee weapon, which is also for crowd control and slam to do finish kills. So you basically do kills with your melee weapon, and your primary weapon just is for quick headshot kills or quick crowd control. But this is a very specific weapon. Its sole purpose is to take out Exumus type enemies or enemies with lots of shields. It's a reduce enemy shields weapon and reduce enemy bubbles. So no matter what enemy types that has shields and bubbles, this is the weapon for it, because it takes it down pretty quickly, more quickly than most weapons. May not be the fastest to take shields down, but I guarantee it's probably the second fastest. If there's a tenant version of this that's more powerful than this, or there's a Kuva version of this that's more powerful than this, then you should use that. The Gamma Core is pretty badass, and this is just a Syndicate Gamma Core. This is not um, a better version Gamma Core. So yeah, Uriel is about as average as it gets for a Warframe. But he can become so much more if you get rid of his fourth. And say, like I was panicking, and say, okay, if I had Loki's invisible ability thrown into the fourth slot, then it would have been a wrap for these guys, because I would stay invisible the whole time. And if I put Hush Invisible on my weapons, like you could put Hush Invisible, because I believe once you attach a Loki weapon, a Loki power into your into your power kit, you now have access to Loki's Syndicate mods. So now you could use Loki's Syndicate mods as well, which is Hush Invisible. So if I throw on Hush Invisible on, say, here, put Hush Invisible here, I could be shooting them with the Gamma Cord. They wouldn't know where the hell I am while I'm doing it. But if I don't have Hush Invisible on, wherever I shoot from with the weapon, it will follow the sound and run towards that area. So I believe Loki thing is extremely important for specific enemies. Very, very important, especially if you don't want to die. But if you're going to use your Loki invisible mod or invisible capabilities, you will have to have high duration, and not so much high efficiency, but very high duration, like 258, which is perfect for him because he's not like a long range enemy anyway. He's a mid range to low range enemy. He just needs to close the gap between enemies, let his burning stuff do the effect, kill enemies, move on to the next. So that's it for Uriel. Yeah, yeah, not much to say about him. Thought he would be more of a badass Warframe. Turns out the only thing badass about him is his first and his second. That's about it. Maybe the next Warframe, like even Naku is better than him, you know, if you think about it. So if the next Warframe is better than Uriel, great. But if you get rid of Uriel's, let's say you get rid of Uriel's third and his fourth kit with different subsumed powers, but yet you still get to keep all your three demons, and they still work in tandem with each other, even though you can't use your third and your fourth. Then it's perfect because all your three demons will be attacking anyway, but you don't give a damn about your third powers because you don't use it anyway. So yeah, the only way to make Uriel perfect is to get rid of his third and his fourth. But if it's essential for you to use all your three of your demons to work in tandem with each other, trifecta, then the thing you must get rid of is the fourth, because that's incredibly useless in my opinion. Unless you know from someone's video how to build up the fourth extremely fast against high level enemies, because it takes a long time to build up with high level enemies. So now I'm just going to do regular missions. I thought it was going to take me a short time to do Uriel. I said it was going to take me 30 minutes, but I had to be specific. I had to make sure how. Best way to defeat bubble enemies, Gamma Core. It melts their bubbles fast, and you don't need to switch between more than two weapons. One weapon you need, one for taking bubbles down, next weapon for ground slam. Done so. Move around the field, single them out, laser their bubble down, ground slam. Keep doing that until until all enemies are dead. And you could do that for other enemies as well. Let's say there are no bubble enemies on the field. Switch this out to a weapon that's an enemy is weak to. Use one weapon, destroy them. But the only reason I use two, because the switching back and forth is annoying as shit. Or Gamma, I think specifically with Gamma Core, it's best to just use two weapons, not three. But that was that. This is pretty good too. It shoots fast. So I say between Gamma Core and these two take down the bubbles pretty fast. Alright, so I'm just going to do my standard daily runs now. And since Uriel's not fully leveled up, I might just do one. Yeah, I'll do one run of Hydron, and that should get him to 30 pretty quickly. But that's how you fight using Uriel. Against average enemies, you could use your powers all the time, but the moment an Exilus bubble enemy comes out, and he always will, his sole purpose, along with the other enemies that do energy drain or health drain, their sole purpose is for you not to use your powers. So that's when you use the Gamma Core. So the Gamma Core is like an essential part of taking out bubble enemies, or a better version of the Gamma Core.
Target neutralized.
And I went through several weapons, several primaries, several secondaries, to see which one melts their bubble fast, either between primaries and secondaries, and the Gamma Core seemed to do the job. So all you need is a better variant of the Sonoid Gamma Core. That's far better than that one, and you're good. Use that. Use a melee ground pound, and enemies die quickly. So another thing, like if your shade dies, like Shade Prime or Shade dies, like just put Loki's powers on your fourth, and then switch out Shade for Wyram, because Wyram removes status effect on you, so the whole time you're invisible using Loki's second ability, Wyram is also doing his job of removing status effect from you. Several bonuses. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Put Loki's second invisible on his fourth, and then use Wyram, because Wyram's sole thing is just to make you invisible. But if you're already can go invisible, and there's no need for a shade, you just need to use Wyram.
We're done here. The extraction team will take over from here. Time to evacuate.
Alright, so he's at level rank 28. I believe I could do at least 2 of my dailies today before I have to hop off. And that should get me to rank 30. Can't do Archon because you have to be level... Oh, wait a minute. I can? Okay. I guess they fixed that. That's been fixed. Before you had to be mastery rank. I mean, not mastery rank. You have to be level 30. But now you don't have to be level 30 to do Archons. So that was fixed. Because he's only 28.
Our target's been conditioned by Pazul personally. Do what you can. Bring them home safe.
And the blind worm deemed the scream of the Kondrak to be madness, for she could not see how far and free it soared.
The only good thing I would say about Shade is that he will keep you invisible regardless if you run into enemies with bubbles. So if, like say if, like just now, I run through an enemy who had a bubble.
Hurry.
I stayed invisible regardless. So my powers didn't come off because it wasn't my powers, it was Wiring powers.
Stars, not a minute too soon.
Bite my head clean off, Mother. That's the good meat is. Suck the guts until the little legs kick.
Target is being debriefed. If any trace of Era still remains inside Pazul, I will bring it to the surface.
So tomorrow I'll probably play Bloodborne. Finally play Bloodborne
Pazul
again.
has stowed sacred armor artifacts in Corpus conduits. We
Because
need to
I decide
ransack them.
this time I
Little
decide
Duck
to
will
actually
guide
buy Bloodborne, not the PlayStation Plus version of Bloodborne that they lend it to you. So I actually bought the Bloodborne this time. So even if I can't do co-op in Bloodborne, I don't have to ever worry again about not being able to broadcast the game because PlayStation Plus doesn't allow me to. So that's great.
Hear that beeping? Demo unit's on its way. resets. We can take them again. Game?
Freedom from desire and responsibility alike. Find freedom and surrender, as I did.
Demo units looking to depart this mortal coil and take you with it. Keep it clear of that conduit. Unit coming in fast. That thing bows and you can kiss the conduit goodbye. Alright, it's getting a little hairy. One more round, what'd you say?
We will examine this hall in detail. We will learn Narmer's secrets.
Examine your own heart, Netta. Peel back its blackened layers and look deep.
You got out while you still could. Smart move.
Alright, that should be level 30. So I'll do this last part of the mission. I'll call it a day. I wanted to do my other dailies, but the fact that I got so hyped on trying to figure out how to take down the bubbles, it took me a while.
Acts of defiance, acts of generosity, acts of sacrifice. This is how we live.
To rebuild Paradise, Pazul's Narmer will destroy all they consider makers. Archon Naira will be at the forefront of the slaughter. Found her. Stay on the move. Those eyes can kill. Azul has barred the way to us heathens, but stolen Deacon Veils should allow you to deceive the barrier. Azul preaches of Tau, where once the great beasts held dominion. But none have seen Tau in centuries, nor heard it speak. Naira and her kin were doubly abandoned. You dealt with Archon Naira expertly, Tenno. Her kind may expect no mercy, no redemption.
Alright, and I think that's it for that. Call it a day on that. So, that was basically Uriel's whole kit. From February the 6th to today. What's effective against average enemies, and what's effective against annoying enemies. And today was the annoying enemies part, which shows that his first and his second are his best kit. His third, which you'll probably hardly ever use, is somewhat important, but it is very important for firing rate. I didn't use a lot of firing rate with regards to the Gamma Core, because I completely forgot that his third ability allows me to do more firing rate, which means I could have melted their shields, their bubbles, 3 times faster if I had just used the third ability. So all 3 of his abilities are good. and the fourth is the worst one. So how to deal with bubble enemies, exumus, bubble enemies, nullifiers they're called. You carry the gamma core. Let me just type in gamma core. Okay, you type in the better version, the Snowy Gamma Core, or maybe the Tenant Gamma Core version, or the Kuva Gamma Core version, and you use this, and you make sure you have, especially when you're dealing with bubble enemies, you make sure you have at least a total of 900 damage, because you want you want to do enough damage, and as well as you want to have enough firing rate. So he doesn't have any, or should I say the weapon doesn't have any firing rate on it, but it has projectile speed. So even if your firing rate is slow, the projectile speed is 40%. But the weapon already has 12 firing rate, which is pretty damn good. So if you're now using Uriel's third ability, which is to increase your firing rate, this 12 could probably become like 24. So which is very good, or more than that. So yeah, all three of his abilities good. Fourth ability is terrible. So that would be the ability I would suggest to subsume. And when it comes to nullifier bubble enemies, especially if there's a lot of them, like I just tested against 20 of them that are off the steel path, that are above level 100, probably even going to level 200. You only need two weapons. One weapon for making their bubble go down fast, this or a primary weapon, and then a secondary, your melee weapon, which is to slam to the ground to do massive damage, because all melee weapons does more damage when you slam on the ground than when you do a heavy attack, which is a wind up and then you do a heavy attack. So when you slam on the ground, the lowest you would get with this weapon, based on what I've put on, is 46. So if you slam on the ground right next to them, they take that 46 damage. If you slam right on top of them with the weapon, you'll probably do a little bit more than 46. And it does scale up to about 92 over time. I guess with the multiplier, it goes higher over time. So that's basically it. Gamma Core and whatever strong weapon you has. The switch back and forth works perfectly when you only have two weapons. The switch back and forth doesn't work great when you have three weapons, because now you have to do an animation for switching the weapons and then for aiming the weapons. That's 2 seconds. And then no, for aiming the weapon, which is one weapon, and then for switching to the next weapon, which is another second. And then for using said weapon, which is another second. So it's anywhere from 3 to 4 seconds between just two weapons. So that's why I typically moved and took out the third weapon, which is the primary, and only use two on them. Should you do this all the time? It only depends on the type of enemy you're fighting, specific type of enemy. If you're fighting all different type of enemies all at the same time that are hard, you should have all three weapons. But if you have a lot of the same type of enemies, you should only use two weapons. So that's it. That's all I gotta say. I wouldn't say Uriel is trash. I would say his fourth is trash. He would be on the tier of B plus to about A minus Warframe. I still think Temple is far better than him, and Naku is better than him. So that's it. That's it for this video. No more Uriel builds. Next time I play this game will be sometime in late the third week of February. So for tomorrow and Thursday, I'm probably just going to play Bloodborne. And then on Friday, no, what am I talking about? On Friday, I'm going to probably play Warframe again on Friday and on Saturday. But those won't be videos that I upload on YouTube. Those will be videos I do on my own time, because I play Warframe mostly on my own time. I only did this one today. It's because it's been 6 days since I did the last video. So I wanted to show how Uriel works against difficult enemies that are annoying versus regular enemies who don't have annoying powers. Like regular gunners, bombers, butchers. You could take care of that using powers and weapons. Enemies that have specific powers, such as bubbles, are annoying against any Warframe, no matter how strong they are. And they're a pain in the ass, so that's why I use the most difficult enemy in the game. Exumus level nullifiers, which takes you, or should I say, which takes down your powers or allow you not to use your powers at all. So that's it. I'm done for today. I think I'll do Bloodborne live tomorrow. Yeah, it's been a while since I played Bloodborne. Alright.